Database is what? Microsoft SQL Server, I am saying. Now, why we are saying about Microsoft SQL Server? Hmm. So, what did you understand with these things? Three things I wrote: front end, client side, back end, server side, and database. Why? Now you see. Now tell me, what is the purpose of front end or client side? What you are going to do there? Hmm? So by using front end client side, we are only going to design the form. We are not going to do any coding purpose. So we will just design by using HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So when you design this form, what you will do is you will not concentrate on what? Coding part. Logics are written where? Logics are written under server side programming languages. Whereas HTML, CSS, JavaScript is used for designing purpose as well as functionality, client side functionality. Okay, so client side logic. మనకు సర్వర్ సైడ్ లాజిక్ రాదు కదా. క్లయింట్ సైడ్ డ్రాబ్యాక్ ఏం చెప్పినాం? వాట్ ఇస్ ద డ్రాబ్యాక్ ఆఫ్ క్లయింట్ సైడ్? ఇంకా it will be residing in client system. So these are the drawbacks of what? Some JS features. So why we are going for server side ante because of what? Security. Okay. So Inka. So now what about database? Now we came to know we will design designing structure. We will go with front end technologies. Logic and all we go with what? Back end C# programming. Then what about database means? To store data. So we don't have concept of storing data under C sharp. So C sharp is not designed to store the data, but it is designed to write the logics. So what it will do using C sharp, you will make sure that you will store the data into the database. So what you will do is you will store data where? Into database. So first of all, database is nothing but what? Database is a collection of tables, where table is a data in the form of so now we need to know about now we need to know about what? There are so many things which we need to know. First thing is what? When you talk about database, why only Microsoft SQL Server? Why not Oracle database? Or so why only Microsoft SQL Server? So why only Microsoft SQL Server database? Why not? So why we need to go for only Microsoft SQL Server? Standard language. Hmm. Because see here. So we have different databases. Even we can go with Oracle database, we can go with MySQL. But the thing is that so priority wise, Microsoft technologies. So as we are developing applications using what? Using Microsoft technologies. Like what? C Sharp is a Microsoft programming language. When you are using Microsoft programming language like C Sharp, they give support to what? First preference is what? Preference is Microsoft technologies. So here, what is the tool which we are going to work on is Microsoft SQL Server. Let me show you. So as we all know that most popular programming language, when you search, you will get what? Yeah, here you can see what? when you search for Bing and MSN, there are two popular websites. Under that, if you see C Sharp with Microsoft SQL Server, as well as Bing with my C Sharp with the Microsoft SQL Server. So backend, front end is JavaScript, backend is C Sharp only. Here C Sharp with ASP.NET, but database is what? Microsoft SQL Server. So if you want to work with Microsoft related things, we need to go and install what? Microsoft SQL Server. So how to install this means? So it is already installed, but I'll show you. It's a very, very important thing. If you want to install, so it is a Microsoft, we call it as SSMS is SQL Server Management Studio. So it is a tool where you are going to have connection string type of authentication. Then, so let me open before install. This is an installed one. Before this, so I'll just want to show you. So here you can see what is the server type. There are now once again this database consists of database engine, integrated services, then reporting services, then see analysis services, reporting services, integration services, and Azure SSIS. So cloud Azure also you can communicate. So as we are into beginning stage, so this is called as Microsoft Business Intelligence, where it has so many things. You want in future you are working with analysis, so you want reporting, crystal reports, you want to generate any reports, we will go for reporting. Integration, you want to integrate our SQL server with Oracle database. Then we will go for what? Integration services. You are for purely working on SSIS. Then we will go for Azure integration services. Then we will go for what? Azure. So as we are working with the database engine only, we are going with it. So this will be the laptop name. So let me show you before this installation. So if you want to install, go to Microsoft SQL Server. Yeah, this is the tool which we have. So, from as of you can see here from 2016, 17, 19, 22. So these are the versions which we have. They have changed a lot. Earlier it was not this look. I mean earlier this was not the look. Now recently they have changed this one. So let me show you. So it is also present under Microsoft SQL Server only. So on-premises on Azure developer version 2022 Express. So on-premises you download. So once when you click on this, a setup file will be. Yeah, you need to register for this. In previous case, it was not this. So you want just you can give your details. 1 second. On-premises we will go with the developer. Hmm. See, better go with 2022 where you don't need to enter anything. So once when you click on that, you will get what? A file, setup file. So just run this file. So it has to redirect to what you know. From here, it will redirect to SSIS also. So see, there are three versions. Like basic is what you know. Known in see basic automatically it will only select what you know, what type of authentication you need. We have three types of authentication. I mean two types of authentication. One is SQL Server authentication. The other one is Windows authentication. So once if you see here in my SQL Server, so see here authentication is of Windows authentication. The other authentication is what? SQL Server authentication. So apart from these two, you have what other different types of authentication. So better what we are going to do is SQL Server authentication. If you select, you need to pass username and password. Username and password you will be getting login name. So default you will get system admin as I say, password as 123. So if you are installing, if you are using Oracle database, they have Spot Tiger as the default names, but we will change. It's not mandatory. Those only should be there. In previous cases, we used to like that. Now they are keeping their own database credentials. Windows authentication means what? default authentication of our Windows. No need of giving any username and password. Whatever system username and password is there, along with that, it is going to install. So what basic version is going to do is it will come up with the Windows authentication. No need of us selecting. So it will type to install the SQL Server database engine, which feature with the default configuration. Default configuration means what? It will set up everything default. No need of us to select manually. But if you go for custom, here what we need to do is we need to select. So if you want SQL Server authentication, you need to go and set up through SQL Server installation wizard. So every step we need, it will be asking. So we need to accordingly select what our type of installation. So it is asking where exactly you want to install. So this is of almost 8 GB. So here you can see installation wizard, what you want to install. What you want to install means whatever you want, you need to only select. Basic, automatically it will only install. So it depends upon you. Whatever you want, you just click on that, say accept. One more is media also is there. So it is a already set up file which we have. So better go with what you know, either go with custom or basic. I prefer going with basic only because instead of you selecting, it will select some features. If you want SQL Server authentication, then you go for custom one. Okay. So here select what, accept, say install. So it will be installed in your system. So after installing, once again, what it will do is it will redirect to what you know, SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio redirection. So here also it has got so many files where it is going to install it. Let me close this file. So it is running. So let me, I just close that file because once if it is installed, it will redirect to our SSMS. So here it is saying official GitHub repository containing code samples for SQL Server also. If you click here, it will be redirecting to your SQL Server installation, all test samples. So these are the things. Northwind Pub is a database. Generally, they have ready-made data which they have committed. So once again, we have so many file management. So once before getting started with the databases, we need to know what are the different file management systems we have. So we have different types of file management system like FMS, file management system, hierarchy management system, then network management system, then RDBMS. So how this have started? First, file management system. What is the purpose of file management system? Why they have introduced first file management system? Then why they went to next one called hierarchy management system. Then network management system. What is the advantage and disadvantage of them? Each one we will understand. And mainly, what who is the person who introduced this one is EF Cod. There are 12 cod rules he kept. So accordingly, we will design the database schema according to code rules only. So see here. Now you can observe here. These are the Microsoft SQL Server instance name. So from today, not only in our SQL Server, in whatever databases, whenever you are communicating with ADO.NET or Microsoft MVC or Core. So what even APIs also, our connection string will be this. So default connection string, and mostly we will use with what? So you can remember. And so why he has given this connection string? Because so my server name is localhost my SQL server 04. So my server name is what? Whatever the server name. So in case if you take my SQL server, if I open it, my server name will be my local system name, whatever the system name I give. So next database name. Default they give it as a master, because default we have master DB, temp DB. So there are 4 DBs which are there. So he is giving master DB as a default and trusted underscore connection. What is this trusted underscore connection means? As I said, there are two types of installation. One is what? Windows installation, Windows authentication. The other one is SQL Server authentication. So if you are going with Windows authentication, default trusted underscore connection is equal to will be true, or integrated security is equal to true. Why? Because let me copy this. Trusted underscore connection or integrated security is equal to true, because now this will be our connection string. So everywhere, whenever you are communicating with connection string means what? Where we are going to connect with the database. So when you are connecting with the database, our local host or system server name, then database name, then type of authentication. If it, what type of, when we will go for, we use trusted underscore connection or integrated security is equal to true when it is Windows authentication. When it is Windows authentication, what we are going to do is we are going to use integrated security or trusted underscore connection is equal to true. Apart from this, if you are going to use SQL Server authentication, we use username and password. Whatever the username we give and password. So this will be the credentials when you are passing under connection string. So what is server? Let me write. Server is what? To which we are connecting. Example, if it is my system name. To the system where database, where database server is available. Okay, next. So database name. Now what is database name means? So to which database we are going to connect. Example, there are a database consists of collection of databases with the tables. So to which database we are going to connect? Under that database, which table? Because a database consists of collection of tables. Okay. So let me show you here. Now this is what SQL Server administration connection string. Next. So if you observe, you got this feature, no? When you are installing, most of the people what they do is directly they search for install SSMS or download SSMS. You will get direct this one. Let me show you. What I did is I went through download SQL Server. From there, you got what? Install SSMS. Install SSMS is what? Now your GUI. This is nothing but SQL Server Management Studio. When you click on this, now it will be redirecting to another website called Install SQL Server Management Studio. So if you directly download this, you will not get some features like what? In previous case, in connection string and all. What you are going to get is default things you are going to get it. That's the reason if you are installing, first start with the SQL, download SQL Server. From there, in between, after a setup of some files, then you are going to get SQL Server Management Studio. Now you have here download SSMS 21. Can you see this? Here you have. So to install, determine which version of SQL Server you want to install. 2021, whichever one you want, you can choose. But preferably, I am going with install SQL Server 21 only, which is available. See here, it is already clearly saying download. Yeah. So download SSMS. So now it will be, see, once again another file. So there are two files. Now you can see the logo also, Visual Studio logo, it is there. Means now they have upgraded with what all. So if you say yes, actually mine Visual Studio, my SQL Server is completely different. Now let me close this Visual Studio also. So he's asking if you are opening any Visual Studio content, just close that so that it is going to continue. So everything is interrelated. Now, if you observe, Visual Studio installer is installing SQL Server also. So what did you understand? Because both are interrelated, even under Visual Studio have SQL Server related things. See here, what type of installation? Here also you have workloads. In previous case, we did not have this all. In last year only, 2024 also we did not have this feature. Now what they have done is they have given this assistance, business intelligence, hybrid and migration. So what type of installation you want to do? So especially saying AI assistance means what? If you are Microsoft assistance you want to use. So you want to migrate hybrid level, you want to do core tools. Now if you want to especially go with what? Business intelligence. As I said, what do you mean by business intelligence? Means Microsoft Business Intelligence consists of what you know, database engine, integration services, reporting services, and what is the other one? Azure SSIS. So these all things are considered as business intelligence. Now, when you say that, automatically it will be installing SQL Server. See here. When I say, if you see workloads, when I check business intelligence, under business intelligence, as I said, four are there. SQL Server analysis, reporting, SSIS, SSAS, integration services, reporting services. Okay. This all comes with what? Along with our, so which one you want to select? If you select this, go and see individual components. Those three will be selected. So because these are the three things which we want to install. Once you click on install. So language packages, English, location, SQL Server default, my system location, SQL Server my release version. Okay. So once if you select all these things, once you say install, it will be installed with what? Analysis services, reporting and integration services. Okay. You want to see that? So let it be installed. Already it is installed in my system. Now my Visual SQL Server you have seen in a different way, no? Now it will be changing. Actually, mine is a older version. So what I want to do is I want to keep it as it is. In your systems, you install newer version. Now your Visual MS SQL Server will be this logo. Is it okay? So you want me to upgrade my system also? Because I have so many databases which are already connected to different classes, which I am explaining. Now this is old version of SQL Server logo. This is a new version of SQL Server logo. So connecting to SQL Server, you got no. So it is already there, and I have so much of database, so much of data with my databases tables. Each table consists of there are so much of DB which is already working. I don't want to lose this data. So what you do is you install, as you know the procedure now, only final step is what you know. Just here you click with your version. So it will install with your latest version of SQL Server. So once when you install it, you will get what similar to this. You are going to get it. So after getting this, now this is your query window. So you start everything writing from here. So new query window when I open it. So this is the query window. If you want to say anything, you can say. So if you want to say create a database name, MyDB. I have so many DBs with MyDB, so I am giving S. So you see here there is a MyDB is also there. So create database. Now these are keywords. Okay. Before getting started with these all comments, I just want to show you what exactly this is. In our .NET, we have a solution explorer. Here we have object explorer. So what is the difference? The difference is everything is present under object explorer only. So mainly it consists of databases. If you open this, you can see databases. So databases, then what exactly SQL Server consists means we have DML, DDL, DCL, TCL operations, data manipulation, data definition language, data control language, and the transaction control language. All these four things are considered. Under this only we have once again under these once again what we have is each database consists of some tables. Example, if you see custom company DB, under this we have tables. Now tables consist of insert, update, delete queries, and not only that, there are system defined tables. So these are system defined tables. Now user defined tables are DBO, database objects we call it as. And apart from this, we have mainly we start with writing queries, then we go with select queries to fetch the data. So there are different types of comments. So here also we have comments to write different. So I want to say what you know. Here also we have first with what data types are there. Now here also we need to know what are the different data types under SQL Server. So we have so many data types. Here also we have multi-line comment. So different data types we have. Here also numerical, boolean, floating point, varchar, different data types are there. We need to study each and every data type. Then we have what you know on top of that. Then functions we call it as functions or mathematical functions, aggregate functions or else functions, a block of code which we know. We have aggregate functions. So what are those means? Min, max, sum, average. Those are all. There are so many functions which we need to go through. So before that, first one is in DML. We will discuss about data definition language. Nothing but create, create, alter, sp underscore rename. So create comments we will come under where you know DDL. Whereas DML comes with what you know insert, update, delete comments. Select command also will have to fetch the records, number of records. So DDL, DML. So these data control language and the transaction control language. Under transaction control language, what we have is save transaction and commit. Whereas data control language, grant, revoke permissions. Okay. Now these all comes under what you know. Each one will have different reasons. Now from here, after insert, update, delete, also what we have is after this we have uh, joins which we need to know. There are so many joins: inner join, left outer join. After joins, functions which I already said. There are aggregate functions which we need to know. Then procedures, stored procedure. Now, what are the stored procedure means? It is a ready-made. So every table, when you open it, there are some procedures. So under programmability, so open once when you open a table, what you need to do is there are programmability. Under programmability, what we have stored procedures, functions once again, triggers, views. This plays once again important role and indexes, clustered index, non-clustered index. If I open this, you will get once again, there are few more to see. What are those is under programmability? You have what? Stored procedures, functions. There are, so these two things comes here. There are something like keys, primary keys, foreign keys. Okay, what is primary key? What is foreign key? What is So different types of keys we will unique key, null, not null. So keys are different, constraints are different. So what are constraints means? Identity key constraint, not null constraint, identity auto increment, not null. So what is the purpose of each one? So foreign key, these keys are different, these constraints are different. So we will discuss each one of them in detail. So constraints, identities, not null, check constraint, not null, primary key, foreign key, unique key. So these are different. These are different. Stored procedures, functions, triggers, views, indexes, joins. There are so many joins. Once again, there are two types. Once again, joins are classified into two different types. So, how you are going to write? So, if you are using full outer joins, left outer join, right outer join, cross join, Cartesian joins, and apart from that, you have what? So, basic joins like what? Non so when you are using ANSI key, no ANSI joins as well as non-ANSI joins, we call it as. So basic queries like how you are using inner join. So what is the purpose of them? Okay, what are the other things? So now these are the things which we need to discuss. So starting with the data types from beginning. Once again, what are the different data types we have? So how we are going to use them in our programming. So each data type we need to know because I'll be using different data types. The data types which we are using under C sharp is different. Here are different. So there we call it as string. Here we call it as varchar or characters. So based on the size of the characters. So each one we need to know what is the size of the data types. So here we don't have, instead of int, we call it as big int, small, tiny int. Okay, the sizes are also same, but the thing is that the way we are going to call will be different. So here also we have Boolean data type. Hmm. So if you see keys, under keys, you generally here we have one primary key, see triggers. So what are the triggers you have? Indexes. So all the things which I wrote here, constraints. So what constraints we are going to use? So these are the things on a table. On a table, what we are going to have. So we need to know on table what we are going to keep. Constraints are we are going to write, or keys, what type of keys we are going to mention. What in case if you are using joins, what type of joins we are going to write. So this all plays an important role for understanding what about database. So as I said, first of all, who introduced this one? This one we will start. EF Cod is a person. If you want to see under where it is, EF Cod about why, what are the Cod rules? We need to know about each and every rule because if you are creating a database name how it should be, and table name it should be how. So database name, table name, how we need to write, column names, how we need to write. Each rule says one thing. So those things we need to follow. SQL Server, 1 second. Somewhere we have seen no, about Microsoft SQL Server, RDBMS. So if you see here, hmm, RDBMS. So we have different editions. He is showing those editions only. Business intelligence, every edition he is clearly mentioned which one to install. Straight. Hmm. So why we need to go for database means because it is the only one where we are going to install what? It is the only one where it is going to store and it has a capability of storing our data. Whereas law programming language does not have capability to store the data. It is only has logic. It has only built to write the logics to insert data into the database. That's the reason we use what ADO.NET, so that by using ADO.NET we will insert database into data. So directly we cannot communicate with what database. So because database is somewhere, C sharp is somewhere, and front end is somewhere. So what they have done, so they have integrated all these things by using what front end, back end, and databases. So if you want interface, username, password, when you create, what you'll do on top of that, when you click on a button, that button logic will be writing using C sharp, and finally database should be submitted into the database by using SQL Server. If it is SQL Server, SQL Server. If it is any other database, that particular database. So database is the only one who is having what capability to store data. Let me open one file. So whatever I have said, just I'll show you in brief. Let me save it. When I save it, so here advanced basic. So whenever I was saying I wrote these points, let me open this. So all SQL new basics. So why DBMS? So this is the history which I want to say. Why DBMS means, so as I said, FMS or a file management system or file database management system, hierarchy management system or hierarchy database management system. So there are drawbacks. Then network database management system or RDBMS, last one. So one to one, one to many. I want to give this introduction only. So as you know, I want to say these all points before already I introduced them, but I want to say in a point voice. So each point how it is going to use. So SQL Server or the database engine, analysis service, reporting services, and each one has got one reason: data types, integer, decimal, money, character, sizes. Let us. So first of all, why we need to go for database means. So can you see here? People are doing so much of on. Previously, we don't.